Hi, I'm AP. I'm a physician and I usually see patients in the hospital once they are admitted. I made this channel to talk about different stories, different ideas, different topics that interests me. More importantly though, given the current pandemic, I wanted to discuss about coronavirus. So let's start with this new phrase, flattening the curve. What does it mean? To explain that, let us draw a graph where x-axis represents time, which can be in number of days since the outbreak started, and y-axis represents the number of infected cases since the outbreak started. It represents the number of infected cases at a given time. For example, the number of infected cases on a daily basis. If you look at the graph, there is a peak when the number of cases is at a maximum, after which the numbers start going down because, certain people start recovering and unfortunately some people start dying as well. So the peak is when the number of people infected is highest in a day. Now every country has a healthcare system capacity, after which the system gets overloaded as it runs out of ICU beds, as it runs out of number of ventilators, and as it runs out of other resources. Let's take an example to see what can happen once the healthcare system capacity gets overloaded. Let's say a country has a healthcare capacity of 10,000 ICU beds, which means it has 10,000 ventilators in those ICU beds. So that means only 10,000 people can be admitted to ICU at a given time. If at its peak there are 20,000 people requiring ICU beds, requiring ventilators, that means the healthcare system capacity is going to be overloaded by 10,000 people. So those extra 10,000 people are not going to have any ICU beds and are not going to have any ventilators available. So without an access to ventilators, the mortality rate, which basically means the percentage of people that die because of an infection, is going to be high in these 10,000 people that don't have an access to ventilators, compared to the people that do have an access to ventilators. Remember, ventilators can be a difference between life and death. Ventilators can provide you with 100% oxygen instead of 21% oxygen at room air. And ventilators can also help you breathe if you can't breathe on your own. This is why it's important to flatten the curve. How do you flatten the curve? By using protective measures like social distancing. The goal is to slow the spread of the disease so that it takes longer to reach the peak, and at the same time, the number of infected people at its peak is reduced. Also, because it now takes longer to reach the peak, we have more time to increase the healthcare capacity by increasing the number of ICU beds and ventilators. I hope this made it easy for you to understand what flattening the curve means and how we can achieve that. Social distancing is a key part of it, along with good hygiene. You should keep your hands clean all the time, you should not touch your face, and cover yourself when you cough. I know it's boring to stay at home and do nothing, but you have to do it because if you don't, you could be the reason for someone's death, and that someone can be you as well. You may feel like social distancing is not really helping, but trust me, that's the only thing that's actually helping everybody right now in slowing the progression. Thank you guys. If you liked my video, please like, share, and subscribe, and put a comment down below. I'm going to continue to make more videos about this topic and a lot of other topics, so please subscribe. Thank you.